The Habs make another sneaky signing as one of their most physical and, quote, violent prospects from the OHL is now officially on the Laval Rocket, and he may see some playoff time. We got to talk about him, Jacob Fowler as well, who has already stolen the net from one of the best, if not the best, AHL goalie in the league this year, and also some talk from Dave Pagnotta of the fourth period on Montreal's master plan this summer, and we got to dive into some potential names and some big things that are coming from Montreal. A bunch of great stuff coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. Quick reminder though, guys, still over half of you who are watching this video are not subscribed. We're here every single day throughout this entire offseason. The button down below is completely free, and we're almost at 21,000. So if you haven't hit it yet, just double check. We'd really appreciate it if you did. Jesse, let's jump right into this, and why not start with our boy Owen Protz? There he is there, Owen Protz, Defenseur. He is signed with the Laval Rocket on an ATO, so he could draw into the playoffs lineup, though as Anthony Malcutt says, look, we shouldn't expect it necessarily, but he could taste it, Jesse, a guy who was, his scouting report said he's the most violent player on the ice in all the best ways. Put up a nice scoring bump this year, jumping to near a half point per game in the regular season and putting up 6 points in 11 games as a very physical 6'2", 207-pound defenseman. What are your thoughts on Owen Protz? I think, hey, look, if there's any time to give him a taste of the league, the playoffs would be a good spot with his type of style. But I don't know, Laval does have a pretty good decor right now.
It's right now, though. And, Jeff Gordon was asked at his presser end of season just recently, do you want to add, more physical playoff-type players for this next wave for the Montreal Canadiens? Well, look no further than our boy Owen Protz here, known for just laying the body. Obviously, he might look 12 years old, this pitcher. We assure you he is violent out on the ice. It's not just the size, but that willingness to kind of lay his body on the line. Just imagine, Josh, Owen Protz here with a guy like Florian Xhekaj laying the body in the playoffs, and still a little bit of work, but if he was able to get to that NHL level, there's a world where Florian, Owen Protz, Arber, Xhekaj, Slav out there, all kind of laying the body. These are the type of guys that you do want in the playoffs. Let's face it, in the series, with the Capitals, having a guy like this can make the difference. So a fair amount of work to get to the NHL, but still in the NHL, once you get the playoffs, that physical play still matters. And this is how this type of guy can definitely kind of earn his bones here. So really exciting to see what he's going to bring to the club.
Yeah, the Brantford Bulldogs, I don't know what's up with that franchise, but they're a funnel for physical players from Montreal. We got Owen Protz, we got Florian, we got Arber. It just keeps coming from Brantford. Really cool stuff. Like you said, quite a ways to go before he's an NHL caliber defenseman, but I'm really curious to see how he fares there after showing a bit of a scoring bump and being a very physical guy. Let us know your thoughts on Owen Protz down below. I quite like it, but Jesse, look, if we're talking about the AHL, we got to talk about Jacob Fowler. Of course, Laval finally won their series, and they are headed off to the North Division Final to face Rochester. Laval has chosen the home ice advantage, so the first 2 games will be in Rochester, and the last 3 will be in Laval. I believe it's another best of 5, so they'll play the first 2 on the road. They wanted those 3 games coming home. But look, right now, after moving on, they did it thanks to our boy Jacob Fowler, and just wanted to highlight his stats this year here from Marc-Olivier Baudouin. Look at his NCAA stats, right? 25, 7 and 2, 1.63 GAA, 7 shutouts, 940 save percentage. AHL regular season, pretty good in his first 3 games. And then in the playoffs, up to right now, he only let in 1 goal in that 3rd win. He's 3-0 with a 1.0 GAA, 953 save percentage with a shutout. He stole the net from Cayden Primeau, who was the best AHL goalie this year, Jesse. Jacob Fowler is absolutely insane, praising the Laval crowd, saying it was incredible. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And hey, college hockey crowds can get pretty rowdy. This is honestly I know it's still early in his professional career, but I don't think it could have possibly started any better for him.
Come on, 3-0, 953 save percent in the playoffs, no less. We knew this guy was a gamer, but he just keeps kind of standing up to his reputation every single time. And right now, he's stealing the Laval net over the toughest competition in the AHL in Primeau, who has been lights out down there. So, this is absolutely nuts. And I mentioned it, on our lives and everything. It's how long is it before Fowler is going to start pressing for the net in Montreal? He could do that as early as next season. I'm not even joking with how young that this guy is, the star. What he's been able to do in Laval and just kind of sweep and take that net. His next set, that his sights are set right after on getting that net in Montreal. And guess what? I'm not going to be betting against the man. We know what he can do. He'll start to put on that pressure just through his play. He just needs a little bit of an injury from a backup to get at that opportunity. And we know obviously what Fowler can do. We just needed that brief opportunity. Primeau going up for that playoff run as our backup, to Dach, right? To just kind of steal this opportunity. Look for our boy to do that again. And Josh, I'm calling it like a great Laval Rocket team. And then you're going to put in Fowler playing the way that he is right now. Like, we're winning the Calder. I got really faith in this team right now. And I mean, like, what an incredible start that would be for our boy Xhekaj.
Calder Cup and Calder Trophy both coming to Montreal and Laval this season. I can't wait. And you know what? You make a great point there talking about how we might not have even have seen Fowler if Cayden Primeau had stayed down. Like, yeah, we probably would have seen him for like some regular season anyway. I think we did before Primeau was even called up. But playoffs probably would have just been Primeau's net. You ride and die with them because as you should. But like, you started with Fowler. He wins 2 games. Then Primeau's back. He's ready. He lets in 3 goals. They weren't like bad goals or anything. And they're like, let's just see what happens if we put Fowler back. And he's absolutely stellar again. Now, the Laval defense is helping a lot. Against Rochester, we're going to learn a lot as well. Not just about Fowler, about Mailloux, about Reinbacher. Guys who really want to show their NHL capabilities. But it's going to be very interesting. Leave your thoughts down below on Laval right now. Jacob Fowler. Look, again, we're still early, but the signs here right here at the start are quite good. But you know what, Jesse? Mm-hmm. Speaking of signs being good, this offseason, again, that end of season presser from Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon, I can't get enough of it. It was absolutely amazing. And right now, we're just talking about what big moves are coming. And Dave Pagnotta of the 4th period shed some light on some of what he is hearing and what he thinks as well. And I wanted to bring this up because it's a big point of conversation. Now, it's nothing here necessarily groundbreaking, but the way he phrases these things, I think, is a bit interesting. So I want to get into it. Saying the Habs want to be a bit more physical. That's something Jeff Gordon was talking a lot about. They want to be beefier and the 2C position's a priority. We're going to hear some bigger names as the offseason progresses. And he went on to say, look, they're going to try and find someone in the early to mid-20s that works with the core. We got a lot of cap space. Money's not a problem. We're willing to move some of our picks, some of our young prospects for a player like that, Jesse. And I tend to agree with a lot of this. One thing with the early to mid-20s, it wouldn't surprise me if Montreal goes for someone a bit older. Like, we're talking about, again, a Bo Horvat, or if ever, this guy's name, Sidney Crosby, who keeps showing up. What are your thoughts on what he had to say here? I really like the idea that, like, a big, beefy 2C can work. I know there's some names there, Quentin Byfield, Bo Horvat, who knows? But to hear, like, a lot of people, a lot of insiders from all over the place saying, like, this is a big summer. They're going to spend money. They have the assets. I just feel like I can't wait for the playoffs to be over now so we can finally dive into this officially.
Yeah, Pagnotta in referencing, the Habs offseason, what he projects. I think there was 2 great takes in being aggressive and creative, which is exactly what I would like to see from this team. We have those picks, and of course, we need to move them forward, not just for reclamation picks, but really for those bona fide type of players, which this team has shown that they're able to really take on from this point in time and really benefit moving forward. Now, when we're talking about what that player looks like, there is a fair point there where I've kind of advocated for maybe the benefit of having a veteran on the team here as a 2C. That being said, it's like a fair point that is it Suzuki kind of becoming our vet now at 25, the more experience? Because for me, I'm starting to get vet vibes from him a little bit. That like, there's not much separating him from a veteran in this league at this point in time. Not every player has that type of maturity. That is the case for Nick Suzuki through and through. That being said, it's like there's the option for sure, like a veteran that never goes out of style with our boy Crosby there. We're given some glimpses, but it's like at the same time, it's like there's also getting a player, as he mentions, within the mid 20s to mid 25s. There is the benefit there, as we mentioned. I have said that before, maybe being like Kent's first option because he wants to get somebody that he doesn't feel like he needs to keep getting a 2C every couple, let's say 2 to 3, 2 to 4 years. Let's say there is a risk in that. However, Josh, it's like if this team is competing, they're playing really well, they're getting to playoffs every year. I'm not so worried about like our ability to be able to get a 2C of quality that'll really want to come to this team at this point in time. But it's almost like, we don't want to be at this thing where we're constantly looking for that 2C and kind of being very repetitive with that. We want to move forward, right? So lots of amazing options. The market's going to dictate. You're going to need to go with the flow a little bit here, but for sure, Kent's going to have his first priorities of what he would prefer really coming into this.
Yeah, like I think that's a really good point. Again, I would love to have Crosby, but again, like the idea of you needing a new player every few years to fill that void, it's not easy to just come across people. And So that's why I think like someone on a longer term contract. UFA is like a big maybe. Again, the biggest center name that we hear a lot is Sam Bennett, but like there's some centers up for trade, potentially Bo Horvat. It's a lot of speculation with the Islanders situation. Look, them having the first overall draft pick too might make it more likely. Even a Matt Barzal from there who's a bit younger, or like there's guys around the league, Marco Rossi, Bo Horvat. There's so many more, and actually there's recent talk, not a center, but Jordan Kyrou out of St. Louis. We might be talking about that. Apparently he's on the block. That could be a good name, but there's so much to come, and I feel like we could talk about this for ages and ages, but we got to cut it short there for today. Leave your thoughts down below on all the things Habs offseason, all the things Laval. There's going to be so much more to come, and I hope you stick around for it, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe, most importantly, to the channel. 21,000 is right around the corner, and that's thanks to all you wonderful people. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.